Today's episode is more than likely brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace sponsors every podcast, so they probably sponsor ours.
TBD starts now.
Hey listeners, welcome back to TBD with JB and JB.
Oh, it's good to be back. I hope that they are also as equally happy as I am to be back here at TBD.
Oh, it's the best. I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of
It's
time.
been a spell.
Yeah,
as you like to call it.
we took some time off.
So many things have happened in real life.
It was an extended casting time on this spell, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess it was like abnormally long.
Yeah, I guess it was higher level. Maybe had it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
why
but
it took so long.
Yeah, but this week on TBD, we're going to talk about Game of Thrones season 5.
Yeah,
it's gonna be It just ended last weekend.
Yeah,
it was good.
On the hearts and minds of
But
many folk.
before I start, I want to do a little talking about something we talked about last week. Talking about the TBD podcast and changing the name and determining that name.
Yeah, finding out what.
So we've done a little bit of thinking, and we've come up with a couple things. So I wanted to run one by you.
Okay.
It's just going to be called The Tangent, JB and JB.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's inaccurate. Because we
Well,
are.
of course.
It's like it's almost like an ironical name.
Yeah, because
We're so on point.
right, we should really be called
On point or like sine or cosine radio.
right. Definitely. I really like that.
Yeah.
Sine cosine.
Yeah.
The Sine Cosine podcast.
Yeah, because it's the opposite of. It's not tangent. you know?
Right. But, it's a whole calculus thing, and
I think there is
I don't know.
actually a term out there for the opposite of tangent. I can't remember.
Oh, well, we should definitely look that up.
Cotangent? It might be cotangent.
Cotangent. The cotangent?
I think that might be a thing.
Am I your cotangent?
We're
We're
I think we're each other's cotangent.
right. We're tangents
I'm not
together.
gonna-
You're my cotangent. I'm your cotangent.
I mean, if I had to say which one of us was which, I'd say I'd probably be the top in this.
and that would make me the bottom.
Yeah,
so am I the
you're
power
like the
bottom, or the speed
like a power
bottom?
tangent.
Okay.
Like power bottom cotangent.
Okay. Well, that's good. Let's let the listeners decide on that.
Yeah,
We'll put a poll out there.
you guys could
But anyways, you had come up with
talk amongst yourself.
a pretty decent name that I thought.
Oh, I believe. Are you referring to the Paper Pants?
Oh
podcast?
yes, yeah, the Paper Pants podcasting or Paper
yeah.
Pants podcast something.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking more of like a conglomeration, a network of various podcasts.
Oh, of
as
course.
opposed to just a single podcast, because
Oh, I see.
maybe almost like a cult-like following
so
of podcasts.
The TBD would be part of the Paper Pants network or community or
Paper Pants people.
conglomerate. Okay, well, I really like that.
Yeah.
There's one other one though. The DOS podcast.
DOS podcast.
Yeah, so let's hear some of your thoughts on DOS podcast, Josh.
Well, obviously, neither one of us are German.
Oh, I can't do a German accent.
So it doesn't actually, it's not like DOS podcast.
No,
although it's spelled, pretty much exactly the same, but it's actually a digital audio streaming podcast.
Correct. DOS podcast.
Yeah, DOS podcast.
You're listening to the DOS podcast.
Yeah, and see, that is
Pretty
the
bad.
best accent that he can do. Like,
Yeah, it
so
was
you
pretty
know
bad.
that it definitely isn't referring to anything German.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to do my
No?
accent.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
going to save it. I'm going to
You're
keep that
gonna
in my
keep that
pocket.
in your pocket. Well, we're still deciding
One day,
if this is what it'll be called.
yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Maybe
so
if we decide to make
this
this
is
DOS
a-
podcast.
yeah, that maybe. So this is a typical thing that we do for the TBD podcast. We create a synopsis, if you will, a syllabus for each episode.
It's about 15 pages long
Yeah, well,
per topic.
per topic,
We've gone
yeah.
through about 30, 40 pages so far.
Right.
So it's been pretty good.
today's pages, got them in front. They're all about the old Game of Thrones.
Yeah, literally everything we're saying right now is pretty much scripted and written down. So
Yeah.
this is
This is an episode of I Love Game of Thrones.
oh
Yeah.
god, yeah,
It's been since episode 2
I think so.
of
Yeah.
the old I Love Game of Thrones.
Possibly episode 1 if you don't count the Gorilla Cast. I don't know.
That's
It's
true.
Gonna be, I think
don't know.
this whole season, if you will, is going to be debated over for hundreds of years.
Other people will do podcasts about this first season of
exactly.
our podcast.
Like it'll just be like
they'll
is
listen
this
to
the
our podcast
first
while they
one?
talk about it and record.
Exactly. It'll be nothing but commentary casts about our cast. But we'll
It's just
we'll let that
cast on cast on cast.
Yeah, they're going cast on cast on cast.
Right.
Hey.
What?
Do you think Donald Glover will eventually do a podcast about our podcast?
Donald Glover, the actor from Lethal Weapon?
No, that is Joe Pesci.
Oh, I'm thinking of Danny Glover. Old Lethal Weapon. Yeah, Danny Glover.
I was thinking of Joe
pretty
Pesci,
mean.
like almost
Pesci.
immediately. He's like the star of those movies.
Joe Pesci, huh?
Yeah. He stole the whole.
Oh yeah,
from 2 on, I think it is. He's just like he's basically like. I wonder why everyone else is there.
Well, this isn't an episode of I Love Lethal Weapon.
That's true. This is an episode of I Love Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I got a little.
I do want to go
On
back
topic.
to Donald Glover. What about Donald Glover?
Like, do you think he is going to do a podcast about our podcast?
He might.
Doing casts on casts on casts.
Cast on cast on cast. See, I think that's a reference from Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, and I don't believe that was Donald Glover.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Let's. You know what? This is a
perfect time to take a little break.
Yeah, let's take a short little break
And
here,
we're going to
folks.
look up, see who's right. And we will come back in a moment with one of us bragging into the other one's face. This break is brought to you by Sonic. If it's pretty late and you're not concerned about getting diabetes, try a Sonic slushie with 3 candies in it. Or, if you don't care about how your stomach's going to feel in the morning, eat their horrible, horrible tater tots. And regret it. Sonic. America's drive-in.
All right, folks, we're back. Welcome back to TBD with JB and JB.
Oh, JB, it sounds, I don't know what it is about your voice. You don't sound very enthusiastic to be back. What's,
Oh no, I'm super enthused. I'm super psyched.
Are you?
Yeah, that's just my, I'm trying to do a real cool intro where I just say, welcome back to TBD.
Okay.
I don't know, it's my thing. I'm trying
all right.
It's a new thing.
Okay.
We're,
Well, we're
I'm
back.
still
Well,
developing.
we're back.
Okay, we're back with the answer to
we
Stacks
have-
on Stacks on Stacks.
We got racks on racks on racks and stacks on stacks on stacks.
That's right, we do. The creator of Stacks on Stacks is Soulja Boy.
That's good. Anybody else use that, though?
Probably.
Oh, you didn't bother to look and see if I don't believe our wager, our gentleman's wager, had anything to do with who was the originator of.
Oh, you just want to
Stacks
know
on Stacks
if
on Stacks.
Childish Gambino used it?
Yeah,
in his...
if old Childish G, Gambinese,
All right.
uses
Let's
that
see.
phrase. I think any listener who was listening, even if they were listening to us while cleaning, driving their car, furiously masturbating, they're all going to agree that it was very clear what our bet was. So let's look that up.
Yeah, it looks like possibly. I guess you knew this.
I've listened to the song before.
Well-
I enjoy the musical stylings of Childish Gambino. I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it. I had the opportunity to go see them at Free Press Summerfest, and I did not take advantage
Oh,
of it.
man,
It
that's
was
terrible.
Saddening.
What a bummer, dude.
Yeah, I regret it, but
Yeah, when was that?
I want to say it might have been last year,
Oh man,
or maybe possibly a little bit. No, it was last year.
that's disheartening.
It hurt the soul.
So to answer your question, Josh, the possibilities that Gambines could do a podcast on a podcast about our podcast
Yeah, right.
is 100% possible.
Oh, I think it's gonna happen. I
yeah,
think
it's probably
almost
within
guaranteed.
weeks.
It may already be happening, and we just don't know it yet.
Oh my god. Well,
Maybe.
all of this has been put out, in the future.
Well, whoever's listening to this right now,
Yeah.
unless it's you editing this, or maybe me, or if someone steals a copy early, or Eric,
Yeah, well, there's a couple folks attached to the old shared folder.
or
The old Hutcheries.
is Hutch on here?
Hutcheries on here.
What
Yeah.
is what is it? Oh, have we got any feedback from Hutch?
No, you know what? We haven't. And I'm
Ah.
disappointed about that.
He's a shitty commissioner.
Yeah, he
and a
needs to come
terrible
up with a way
champion.
better way to do the draft this year.
Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah, definitely. But we can't, JB, we can't.
No, I know.
Yeah. Back to I Love Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's Thrones.
Okay.
All about it.
The first thing I want to talk about, obviously, the most exciting, the most terrifying, the worst part of it.
I think we're both thinking about the exact same thing
the
right
death
now?
of Jon Snow.
Oh, wow. That is not what I was
Oh, what were you thinking about?
at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
That's so
fuck.
weird.
Man.
Oh.
Well, that was
You
like
thought that, I mean, you thought that was like the
Well,
most
that-
exciting part of
that was my number one
thing?
like the first thing on today's
I mean,
notes.
we could talk about it first for sure. I mean, I wouldn't
Jon
say
Snow.
like-
It says Jon Snow reaction. That means
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your reaction of the Jon Snow death.
Oh, I mean, we can absolutely do that. But I just want to point out before we get heavily into that obviously the most meaningful moment in the whole of the show is when Sir Podrick Payne, you don't know what happens to him. Like he's left with this huge cliffhanger where he's gathered the supplies. He's turned around and he's following Brienne of Tarth from the Emerald Isles. And then you never see him again. Like, did he get eaten by a dragon? We haven't seen those other two locked up. They could have gotten out. He could have been killed by a White Walker. Maybe
So many things could have happened to Podrick.
Yeah, and he's obviously the kind of like the nexus of the show.
He really is the cock of the walk.
Yeah, like not to throw any penis puns out there, but
we wouldn't want to do that on
because he
TBD.
does have a huge penis.
Well, he also knows how to use it.
Yeah,
His money is no good at the brothel.
Oh, not I. I wouldn't take it personally.
But seriously,
I guess, but going back,
Jon Snow,
Yeah, okay, we can talk about
murdered by his fellow patrons on the wall.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I've heard a lot of people consider him like an important character. And
Well, you once told me that you thought he might possibly be the one true king.
Yeah, it's true.
Which, if it
was,
is true, that's over. Doesn't matter now.
Well, I think it'll be okay though. I don't think he's down for the count, so to speak.
I've read, people quoting producers or directors that he is in fact dead.
I've read these same articles.
Okay.
And I think we have a difference of opinion on what they might do based on the information that they gave. I agree that Jon Snow is super dead. I think he's dead.
Okay.
I think he is, and I think it's an important thing that he's dead because he is bound to the Night's Watch until his death.
That's interesting.
So he is now...
I like that perspective.
Yeah, because he is now officially dead. It's
That's
happened.
true.
The life force has left his body. However, Lady Melisandre...
Ooh, she is at the wall currently.
She's right there, just sitting around.
Okay.
I think there might be like a season where they pull a Bran on us, and Bran, where we don't see him.
Okay, well, here,
season.
let me, one of my topics here is questions that I have. And one of my really important questions is, where the fuck is Brandon Stark?
Well, okay, I think the thing
And you
is,
just brought that up, and I want to transition now.
Yeah,
where is
that.
Brandon Stark?
So when we last left,
He found the
your
tree.
Sweet, paralyzed,
His
lovable.
lifeless legs were dangling from his torso.
Yeah, like while he scooted himself
Hodar
across
was
the ground,
saying Hodar.
and watching him drag his limbs.
He was swinging dick.
Yeah, that guy's got a giant
Oh yeah,
stick.
it's bad.
Not a giant dick, a giant's dick. I just want to be clear about that. It's actually
Giant
quite
stick.
small for a giant, but I digress. That one kid had just gotten stabbed like he was in an episode of Oz. Something Reed, I think it was. Georgian Reed. Like the skeleton of Saeed and Adebisi popped up from the ground with those shivs and
Yeah,
just started going to work on them.
Beecher's swastika branded ass and Ryan O'Reilly just like popped out of the ground. They all together just murdered him.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is getting weird. At the end of season 4, it was like they were all in prison all of a sudden.
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, I don't know if you know about HBO, if you've ever seen, like, a lot of times they'll reuse the same actors.
right. Yeah, well, that's good because they're good actors.
Yeah, and I think those guys might have died, so they probably just, like,
Oh, they
based
just
on
went
their
and, like,
contract.
They dug up their bones.
Yeah,
and-
reanimated them.
yeah. HBO's got magical powers.
Yeah,
So
they
old,
reuse them.
Old Time Warner.
Yeah, it's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen Saeed or Adebisi in something, so,
Yeah. Mm.
And I don't want to see Beecher in anything. 'Cause
No, I was
it
never a
rough.
fan.
But I did
Ryan O-
love Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah,
That
he's
guy was
good.
amazing.
Jon Snow is dead, possibly.
Yeah.
And he might be taking a season off like Brandon Stark.
Yes.
So what you're telling me is Brandon Stark will be back.
I think we'll see
Because
Brandon Stark.
my favorite storylines are the Stark children.
Yeah.
And, well, not Sansa. But, so there's only 2 left that I care about. And one of them was not in the season at all, so I was disappointed in that. But going away from that, because we have a lot of stuff to run through here today.
Let's sprint.
I want to talk about the ending of episode 9. Khaleesi jumps onto her dragon and flies away. And I thought it was really bad.
Oh, you did not enjoy that.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was so funny. But it was not supposed to be funny, Josh.
Right, yes.
It was not a funny moment.
Okay.
But it was poorly done.
Okay.
Let me hear your opinion on
Are you
this.
referring to the visual effects?
I'm referring to the visuals and the fact that instead of being in a battle mind, she just was in awe of her dragon, and she went up to it and rubbed its face while it was getting mutilated with spears. Then she jumped on it and flew away, and they made it look like shit. Okay, that's great that she was able to jump on this dragon and fly away, but no harness, just holding onto its scales. It was probably flying like 70 miles an hour. It was hard, man. It was hard. It was hard not to laugh.
It was the best I think they could do. So I guess I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I liked the moment, that moment where she just kind of gives up on everything, and in that moment the dragon shows up and saves her.
She was fucked, and the dragon showed up and saved her, and that was awesome. But
Well,
I feel
I
like
think
she
there
should have
was-
been more.
But they had to convey in that moment, like the
I hate
dragon's
that
connection.
they do that. In
They had
this
to do
show.
it. They had to, for all the dummies.
When Jaime Lannister's daughter dies, when they revealed that she knew, and then she died. God, that's so stupid.
Oh, it's good though. It makes
Yeah.
it more tragic.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about stupid Jaime Lannister right now.
Okay, we don't have to talk about
No, we will.
stupid.
We're going to talk about
Okay,
it, but
we
not
can
yet.
bring up stupid Jamie Lannister.
Okay, speaking of Lannister, my number 3 topic here. The Walk of Atonement. Now, what did you think about the old Walk of Atonement? To me personally, I have not liked Cersei one bit throughout this whole show. She's obviously not a character that you're supposed to like. So it was rewarding for me to see her embarrassed and pelted with food and walking her bloody feet. But at the same time, I was sexually aroused.
That is not the route I thought that you were going to go with that.
She was using a body double, which
She
I
was.
found out, but it was a hot body double.
Well, she
You know what I'm
definitely...
saying?
yeah,
And I was even more attracted when she was all covered in trash and food, and people had spit on her, and then she was crying. So right when she got to the Kingsguard, that's when I wanted to get her. You know what I mean?
This conversation we could probably have for hours.
We could probably do a
weeks,
whole episode just on the Walk of
lifetimes.
Atonement.
And I think it would probably be best done in the presence of like a professional.
Ooh, we might want to bring a third party in here, like a mediator, so to speak.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
someone with like a degree in psychology.
We might want to
or-
get Wells in here. You know, he did a good job on Deflategate.
That's true. But yeah, no. There were actually moments in there where I actually found myself feeling kind of bad for her. I thought she was pretty, she's a pretty crazy lady. I mean, you look at her dad, you look at that terrible
Oh, I loved her
prophecy
dad. He was the
thing.
best.
I mean, she was sold off to Robert Baratheon, and that's got to be pretty rough. So, I mean, and a lot of the things she did was to protect her kids. And yeah, she was pretty shitty, but a lot of things happened to a lot of people that shouldn't have happened to her,
Definitely, yeah.
It was a bit
Ever since the beginning of the shows, she's been getting fucked over and fighting and fucking people over.
Yeah, but I also get the distinct impression that her and her new zombie Minotaur,
Oh, the Ye Old Mountain.
yeah, Robert Strong,
Oh, yeah.
is gonna go fuck some people up.
Oh, yeah. They're going to kill those members of the faith.
it's gonna be
those women in prison.
Oh, that one chick?
Chambermaids,
I
if you will.
cannot wait to see what's gonna happen.
Oh, definitely. The one that kept hitting her in the face with that spoon. Mm-hmm. All right. So moving on from the old Walk of Atonement, I want us to talk about the death of Meryn Trant.
Oh,
Now, am I saying that right? Trant?
I think it might be Meryn Trant.
Meryn Trant?
Trant. I've never actually seen it written down.
Well, I
Meryn-
can get my
Meryn
fingers
Trant.
on the old
Meryn Trant.
computation and find out.
I think we're good. I think
Yeah.
I like
I'm
to
gonna
go
go
with
with-
memory.
I'm going to go with Trant.
Meryn Trant.
Meryn Trant.
Meryn Trant.
Trounta. The
So-
Trount.
Talking about Meryn Trant.
Count Trountula.
Count Trant.
So anyways, he was beating small girls.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have sexual relations with them.
More than likely.
In his final escapade, I suppose, he had 3 lined up. And as soon as you saw that hair in the face, you knew it was her.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. And, I knew from the beginning that she was disobeying her orders, but I didn't care.
I was hoping that he was also going to not care.
Right.
He's gonna be like, whatever.
What's his name?
He has no name.
True, but she called him something in the beginning.
God damn it.
He had a fake name or his original name. But anyways, we all know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the faceless man.
The faceless man. So she leapt up. Well, she ripped off that face. She leapt up, stabbed him in the eyes, and then just repeatedly stabbed him in the chest over and over. It was one of the bloodiest killings on Game of Thrones, and I thought it was so throat. Epic. Oh, and the throat slit was epic. Arya Stark is my favorite character in the show.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
I've really enjoyed her storyline, her travels all over the world, and then getting to here, and I just can't wait to see what happens to her.
You know what sucks though?
Tell me, Josh, what sucks?
Being blind.
Is that what happened? I have a little subcategory, what's next? And let's just go ahead and jump into what's next for Arya Stark.
Well, first of all, her eyes stopped working and then went all white.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if that was a permanent thing or...
I don't know either. I'm assuming it's going to be...
Maybe it's some sort of temporary punishment for being a fuck-up.
I think it's going to be like that until she finishes her training now.
Right. It seems like they really have a lot of faith in her to be a badass faceless man or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that they're not going to give up on her because she makes this mistake.
I think she's just going to have
to. Well, because, the hatred that Arya Stark has is Arya Stark's hatred. And to be no one, she can't have that hatred. She can't go kill Meryn Trent or the Hound. Well, she killed the Hound. Well, she didn't, but...
Yeah.
Who's the other guys on her list? Is the Mountain on her list?
I think so. Probably. No, yeah, he is from when she had to stay at Harrenhal.
Right.
Getting tortured. Everyone was going to die.
Definitely.
He was picking them all out.
Oh, man. No good.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Back to my main points, my main topics. My next one, the White Walkers. Man, they really came to get it. They really came.
They're in it to win it.
They came in this one, and I thought it was awesome in the ending of episode 8.
Yeah, apparently that doesn't happen in the books.
Oh, is this one of the things that does not happen in the books?
They mention that something goes down, but they do not.
Beyond the Wall with the White Walkers and the Wildlings.
Hardhome.
That's what that little port city was called.
Yeah.
So when you saw, when Jon Snow looked up at the mountain and you saw the silhouette of the 5 horses.
Right.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
excited to see the White Walkers up there.
Very exciting moment.
And then they showed the Prince King White Walker with the ice crown basically, and then into the house comes the bearded White Walker, and Jon Snow and one of the wildlings are gonna take him on. He instantly kills the wildling immediately.
Oh, yeah,
shatters his sword into a billion pieces.
This is a big axe, but
Jon
whatever.
Snow, well, his axe. Jon Snow sees this. And he realizes he is fucked.
I'm gonna die.
So, how was your reaction to seeing the White Walkers?
Obviously, I had assumed that he was gonna make it out of the situation.
Oh,
I thought he was
Jon
gonna
Snow,
get
Jon Snow.
Yeah, old Jon
right.
Snow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I also assumed he's gonna make it out, but I didn't know.
Oh, I thought it was a beautiful necromancer army. I enjoyed the White Walker action. I've since rewatched very specifically the fight that they have
in the end of episode 8,
and I just love that moment when Jon Snow actually blocks the attack
with his Valyrian sword.
Yeah, because both the White Walker had that face of just like, holy shit, what just happened?
Right. He was,
but at the same time, Jon Snow had this face,
also
like this beautiful face of just like, oh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
he's like, oh no,
what happened here?
Yeah, there's a good 2 or 3 seconds where he's just like, I'm alive?
What?
And then he goes, oh, okay, this could work. And then like his face shifts to, I'm going to kick the shit out of you now. And then he kicks the shit out of him, obviously, because he's Jon Snow.
Shatters him. I didn't expect that his whole body would be shattered just like his sword was.
Yeah, well, you need to get all those Valyrian steel blades.
Right, and then they pan up the mountain to the White Walker King.
Yeah, well, he sees
watching.
He knows.
Yeah, that was good. And then, of course, we have to get to the scene at the docks.
Yeah.
With the slow float away, and then that great scene of the White Walker walking up to the end of the dock and then slowly raising both his hands up to his side, and
Possibly his penis as well.
his penis was erect. I'm fairly certain.
Willing to bet.
You know, I have
if it
insider
can.
information. I got
Right,
a sound guy over there
nice.
works on Game of Thrones. He knows. He told me that the White Walker.
Oh, the nose knows.
Yeah, the
About
nose knows.
erections.
All the other wildlings that they had just murdered all stood up,
Yeah.
and their army just got double the size, or who knows how much bigger it got. But
What about the zombies that he had that were hit, but not hit in such a fashion that
Where
they
they
were
were-
done for
right.
forever?
did they also stand
did
back
they
up?
get back up like, oh, that was a good
So
nap,
is it like,
you know?
Are you basically asking, can you get reanimated more than once?
Because I did notice like a
Some
couple
of
of
them get their
zombies
head smashed completely.
I think that probably finishes them.
Right,
Maybe at like a spinal
right, kind of
damage.
like, yeah.
But I imagine
main-
like if you
main
take off an
central system.
arm, it should be fine.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't probably not stop moving. Just 'cause you
Apparently,
took off an
they
arm.
don't need the brain though. Like that one got shot with an arrow in the head was still
Okay,
functioning.
well, shit,
I don't know. The anatomy of these zombies eludes me,
that's true.
and that's what I like about them. I did enjoy. I thought it was a great scene when they just poured over.
Oh, and they just dropped dead.
Yeah, that
that was
zombie
great. Like, oh yeah, we
waterfall.
don't give a fuck. We'll just drop, and then we'll stand right back up
You know,
again.
like, hey, how's it going?
That is it for my main topics.
Mm.
I have some questions. I have some what's next.
Okay.
So speaking of the White Walkers and the battle beyond the wall, what's next for the wall? Since Sam and Jon Snow, or we can only assume, are the only people who really know that the Valyrian steel sword stops the White Walkers, and that the White Walkers are on. Well, I guess all the wildlings know the White Walkers are on their way. But what's next for the wall? What's the wall gonna do now that the battle is on their doorstep and Jon Snow is presumably dead?
Well, I think one of two things is going to happen.
Okay.
Well, one of three things.
Okay, let's hear them.
Number one, Jon Snow is resurrected, goes back to being Lord Commander, and saves the day.
Okay.
Number two, maybe Sir Davros Seaworth takes the reins and is like, all right, well, let's do this.
Now, why would he take the reins?
Well, because he understands the threats that the White Walker
Correct.
brings. Maybe
Well,
he
what
seems
about
more
the
sensible.
first ranger? What's his name?
Well, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
that
he's
guy's
a real big piece of
big
shit.
piece of shit.
I assume that he wants to be Lord Commander.
Sir Fuckface.
Yeah, he was
McVittles.
only one vote away.
God, I
and
hated
it was
him. I hated him so much.
Maester Aemon's vote,
Yeah.
and he fucking died a couple days later.
Yeah, and
Well, it's
now
probably
Jon
weeks.
Snow's dead. So
And Sam's gone.
yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I'm just giving you options. That's option
okay. Well,
number-
that's
option number
number
two. And Sir Davros leads the charge, and I mean, I guess they can hold out. And then option number three is anything else happens, and they are all dead.
Interesting. Now, when you say they, you mean the Knights of the Wall and the Wildling?
Oh well, the wildlings will probably be
Abandoned.
killed.
Do you think they'll be killed or they'll abandon the wall?
Both. It'll be a
They'll run
combination.
inland. Fuck the wall. Let's go to
Yeah,
King's
exactly.
Landing, or
And
not
they'll
King's
end
Landing,
up getting
but
killed.
Winterfell or all the villages around.
Yeah. Winterfell is going to get attacked by wildlings.
Oh, you think Winterfell will be attacked by wildlings?
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great. What's next for Sansa and Reek? They jumped off the castle, presumably hundreds of feet down into fluffy white snow. I mean, what is a mattress down there? What's going on here? Are they killing themselves?
Here's my hope. Now they both grew up there, right?
Correct.
So old Theon would know all the different spots.
That's true.
I'm hoping
Oh,
it's
this is like a thing they used to do when they were kids.
well, maybe it's like thin ice over like a
and,
water source.
he did admit that he did not kill Brandon Reckon.
Yeah.
And
so,
he did. Yeah, I have a question. Did he have any involvement in the death of Robb Stark? Because I know he tried to take. Didn't he? Didn't
no,
he go?
didn't even know Rob was dead whenever, or that was even a thing that was going
Okay.
on.
Well, didn't he go? Why did he leave Winterfell?
To go with Rob to go warring, and then he left Rob to get help from his father, and then stayed with his father when his father was like, "Don't be a bitch, you're joining us now."
Oh, you're an Ironborn.
and then he went back to Winterfell and took it, and then
Oh, he took it. He
became
took
Reek.
it for the Ironborn.
Right, and then,
But then the Boltons
came in and fucked his shit up.
kept fucked it, and then he became Reek.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's a good storyline. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, that poor bastard.
Yeah, God damn it.
I bet that guy's just constantly like, why am I not dead?
Yeah, for real. Okay, so what's next for the ye old mother of dragons? You know, when we last left her, her dragon just appeared to have eaten like 50 deer. He needs a bit of a cat nap.
He's taking a little
So she, for some reason, decides to
nap of
wander.
cats.
What was he?
He's taking a nap of cats.
Oh, a nap of cats. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So she decides herself to wander down the old mountain into a big field. Why would you go from your safe perch down to this open field land?
Because you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Yeah, well, this isn't Texas Hold'em, Josh. Well, they're not in Texas.
Okay, see, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, she did get if they were in Texas,
Oh, that's true. That would have been totally
that could
legal.
have potentially been a Texas Hold'em
That's
if they
true.
pulled on her.
So who is they? Because she got rode up on by about.
Oh, those were Dothraki.
Oh, so
Based
those
on
are her
their-
folk.
That's the question, isn't it?
I see.
Okay, here's my theory.
Now, did they see the dragon? And did they see the? I'm thinking that they saw the dragon.
I'm thinking that
They're
know
dragon trackers.
Well, I think they know who she is.
Well, I think a lot of people know who she is. She's the ruler of all these. She conquered all these
Exactly,
countries.
but originally she was a Khaleesi.
So you don't. She doesn't actually. You're not even. You don't call her Khaleesi anymore
No,
because she's not part of the Dothraki.
but what if they've seen what she's done?
Right, and they want to join up.
Yeah, because based on the way they were riding around her, I didn't get the impression that that was really a aggressive maneuver.
Okay, well, I was wondering. I couldn't tell.
I feel like if you're gonna go in to capture her, having thousands of your horses riding in a circle around her, not the best tactic. How about
Right.
like throw a net on her?
Yeah, definitely.
That seemed very ceremonial, so I feel like that was very like, oh,
Well, throw a net on her and
Exactly.
capture her and
Make
put
her
her in a
your
bag
wife.
and make me my wife.
Behave.
You think she could possibly be okay?
Oh, I think she might be getting more soldiers. Even.
Oh, that would be good. So, speaking of Mother of Dragons, she's left the imp behind. How do you feel about the old imp? I know he's one of the best characters in the show.
He's my favorite,
I love that he's still around, still alive.
and he's got Varys.
He's got Varys. He's got strong, tall, handsome, long-haired, beautiful walnut-toned skin. He's my cinnamon. He's my Carmangello.
Who are we talking about right now?
Yeah, no, the guy that bangs the Mother of Dragons. What's his name?
Oh, well, didn't he take off?
No. Oh, he took off with the old...
Yeah, Dario Naharis.
Oh, Dario Naharis, and he took off with the old Yara Mormont.
Yeah,
Now,
Yara.
the old Yara. Now he's got the grayscale.
Oh yeah, that guy's all fucked.
So how do you think how long do you think he's gonna last?
He's got a while. I think he'll.
Do you think he just become a
sacrifice
stone man?
himself.
He'll just go all the way grayscaled until he just dies.
I think he'll start to show signs of it, and then he'll sacrifice himself for the greater good.
That's true. Well, he
Or-
does. He's back in like Flynn. He's in like Flynn.
Or in true Game of Thrones fashion, he'll hide it until something tragic takes place for
Like the
everyone.
Mother of Dragons gets it, or he brings it
he's
to
gonna
Marine
kill her.
and gives
Oh.
everyone grayscale.
Yeah, all
the whole city of Marine.
all the whores get
That would be
grayscale.
great. We talked about the mountain already. He's going to be just wrecking shop with
I hope
Cersei
so.
Lannister.
I
Yeah,
also
he's a
hope-
big old zombie.
You know what else I hope?
What'd you hope?
I hope the Hound isn't dead. I hope
Ooh,
the
that
Hound
would
comes
be
back
badass.
and bites the mountain.
Ooh, the Hound is some sort of zombie as well.
Well, he doesn't have to be. He'd
Oh,
be
I
a
guess
little
that's true.
cripply, I guess, though.
Yeah. Last but not least, what's next for stupid Jaime Lannister?
Oh, old stupid.
Actually,
face.
I really like Jaime Lannister, and I hear that he's one of the best characters when you actually read the books.
He's a pretty cool guy.
So, what's next for old one-handed Jaime Lannister, that crippled bastard?
Uh,
His daughter just died.
I don't know why. If I were them, I would just turn my boat right
back around.
Go back to the king and be like,
this bitch just got poisoned.
"Hey, bro. Hey, you remember when your
Well, he does
sister-"
have their son.
Oh, I would be, but don't be crazy, Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, ooh, they could do some things. Some things could happen.
They're starting a
So
war.
that's something to ponder on.
A war with Dawn.
So I've got some unanswered questions. Is Stannis Baratheon dead?
I feel like yes.
I feel like yes, also.
I feel like Brienne.
They didn't
Did her
show
duty.
it. What if, someone
Yeah.
walks up on Brienne and stabs her in the back while she's about to stab Stannis?
I just don't see that happening.
He has no army left. And his wife just hung herself.
Yeah,
his
he's
daughter
done.
was burned at the stake. He's batshit crazy by now.
Yeah, he's done so.
He's like the Russians in World War II. He just got outdone by the winner,
Yep.
Yeah, it's no good.
But don't you mean the Germans going against the Russians?
I guess it was the Germans going against the Russians.
Yeah, they were involved though, so you weren't
Yeah, well,
far off.
Russia is hardcore wintry lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit backwards. Like I said before, I'm not super cultured on European history.
I don't judge you.
Yeah, but anyways, I got one last question.
Okay.
Now, this may have already been answered in seasons ago, but I don't know. Where is Robert Baratheon's bastard son?
Wow.
I would say that according to law in King's Landing, that he would be next in line because he's Robert Baratheon's true son.
And Stannis
is just a brother.
super dead.
And he's super dead.
All his brothers are dead.
Right.
He's the last at all biological link.
Right.
I think last we saw him.
Wasn't he joined up? He was with Arya.
No, he was
joined up with someone.
He was getting freed by Seaworth.
Davos?
I think he
old Davos.
Yeah,
Seaworth?
I think I'm trying to remember if anything happened to him after he was like, get free.
Didn't the
King's
red
Landing.
woman, the old red woman wanted to find him, right?
Yeah.
So maybe something
He's got
happened with
King's
that, and we
blood.
just can't remember.
No. Well, he got freed, and I think he's over at King's Landing and not doing anything or doing something, and we don't know about it.
Okay. Well, that's my last question about the show.
Okay.
But I have some more points. I want to know about what you know about some differences between the books and the show thus far in the end of season 5. We talked about the White Walker battle not being in the books. What about the Imp meeting Daenerys and getting kidnapped by Jorah Mormont, and Jaime Lannister's storyline with traveling to the Dornish region, and some other major points that happened in the end of season 5?
I hear some of it's different. I'm not gonna lie, I've not read.
Right. Well, I know you
these
haven't
books.
read up to this point in the books that we are in the show, but I
Right.
know you know a lot about.
Right.
You know.
I know that I don't believe Jorah Mormont isn't at the arena when all
Okay.
that goes down.
So that does happen though. The arena with the sons of
I believe so.
Sons of
yeah.
Harpy and all that stuff.
I do believe old Johnny Snow gets the old
axe. Oh, that's in the book as well.
stabby stab.
I
But
see.
apparently there's a little more, from what I've debated with people of late, because we're about caught up, I think. Some of this is caught up to where the books are
Right.
at this point. And some of it has gone past where the books are, I
Right.
think. And some of it, I think, is before. But apparently old Johnny Snow wargs into Ghost before dying.
And that's interesting. Kind of similar to how Brandon.
Correct.
Really?
And apparently
Now, someone told you this happens?
yes,
For sure?
Yes. And
So that's. But we don't know if that'll be in the show or not because you
Correct.
never know what these fools are going to do.
right. And apparently Melisandre,
That would be the Red Lady.
Red Lady, had a prophecy about old Johnny Snow that was from a man to a wolf to a man.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, I like that. I like that a lot.
maybe he even takes over someone's body or something.
Maybe he's a whole new character.
Yeah, who knows?
Last question for you, Josh. Do you know how many more seasons of Game of Thrones have been greenlit or that they're in the works?
I've heard 10 thrown around somewhere that 10 is gonna
10
be
is the total.
total, but I feels like a bit much, especially what was this, 5?
This is 5, so that would be half. That would only be halfway. Wow, they'd have to have a lot. And they're already. The book is. There's only current 5 books.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
working on the 6th.
two more.
There's supposed to be 2 more books.
I feel like 2 or 3 more seasons.
So or maybe
be
7 or
good.
8 seasons.
Yeah, I feel like that would be good. I don't
Okay.
know. But
Well, that's
I've
good to
heard-
hear. That's
I've-
good to hear.
Yeah, we gotta. I think we have at least 2 more
Well, man.
in the chamber.
Well, definitely. Well, man, you know what? That was. I love Game of Thrones.
Oh, I do love Game of Thrones too.
So I can't believe we actually did it.
yeah, we finished a complete episode of I Love Game of Thrones.
We pretty much talked about every single point I have on this piece of paper.
That's a lot of points.
Just really strange.
He just wrote the word point over and over. again
Yeah,
on
I
a
wrote
piece
it
of paper.
17 times.
I don't know. I don't understand that mnemonic device really at all, but apparently it works for him. So
Well, my cotangent.
co-tangenting.
We calling it a day?
What are we? How are we looking on time right now?
Well, you know what we
take
should
a
do?
quick break.
Let's
or-
take a break. We haven't taken a break in a while.
Yeah, that's been a lot of thrones. Between
Yeah, let's
these
take a
two.
quick break,
Take
folks.
a quick break. Today's episode is brought to you by Loose Hair, clogging your drains since your early 20s.
Okay, you ready to come back?
It's been a long day. Had 5 hours of training today.
Oh, that's terrible. Was it that training where you go sit into a room and you be trained, but you've already been in this room for like 2 other separate occasions? And then they ask you, has anyone here ever
last of
experienced...
Last of 6.
Has anyone experienced any management training before? Oh, I've oh, really? What kind of management training? Oh, it was actually here. Oh, really? Yeah, I've done this exact class.
Yesterday.
Yeah. It was lots of fun.
Today was food and beverage.
Oh, that's good.
Do you know what the danger zone for temperatures are, Jason?
70 degrees.
That is in the danger zone.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say...
More of a range.
It's a range. I'm going to say...
It's more of a range.
I'm going to go ahead and say 55 to 130. 55 to 130.
It's pretty close.
Okay. What's the old range?
41
Ooh.
to 135.
Ooh. Okay. I wasn't way off.
You were in there.
I was in there.
Yeah, but 55.
That's the bacteria zone.
Yeah, that's no good.
So 70 degrees is pretty much prime time.
70 degrees is another key point because when you're cooling or heating something through the danger zone, 70 is kind of like a milestone temperature.
When you've gotten to 70, you've reached the peak, basically.
Well, like a good point. Like if you are cooling off a
hot dish of soup,
it has to get from 35 to 70 in less than 2 hours.
I see.
It has to go from 70 to
135.
41.
Oh, 41. Oh,
in 4 hours.
Okay, interesting.
Now you know.
We're back to TBD. Might as well keep all this.
TBD.
Yeah, we're just going to come back into this topic about food safety.
We're talking about food safety.
I think our name should just be Food Safety Podcast.
Food safety. Well, we talk about it a lot.
Yeah, so food safety is our number one topic here on
TV. Like it's
FSP.
Underline.
It's FSP with JB and JB.
FSP with JB and JB.
I just looked at my screen. I got Wild Bill on my page. It made me laugh.
Who doesn't like it?
We did. Let's do. You know what? We got it.
Wild Bill.
Yeah.
Just wait. Is it the guy from?
Is it Ben Affleck?
No. Is it? Hey, I'm in the Wild West. Would you sling your gun at me?
Oh, is that Val Kilmer?
It's not Val Kilmer. He didn't play Wild Bill.
I was thinking of Tombstone.
Yeah, I was trying to go from the guy from Silence of the Lamb.
Is that Hopkins you're talking about?
Oh, he's not the guy who did it. I can't remember the name of the actor.
Oh, the weird. This is the weird guy who tucked his balls between his legs.
It was whole junk.
All his junk, his junk and shaft.
Yeah, twig and berries.
Anyways, I was about to say, let's throw a little bit of a recap down.
Oh, we want to go grab some kids off the street?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Let's throw a recap.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's put a recap on the episode.
On the episode, yeah.
Okay.
So we talked about different names for TBD. Of course, this is TBD, so we're constantly thinking of names for TBD.
That's one of the main purposes of the podcast.
Yeah, we just start recording and talk about naming the podcast.
Yeah.
We talked at length about Game of Thrones Season 5. We just went over everything. And I have a list here, and I want to start from the top and basically ask you everything on this list. So
you're going to ask me one more time? Just to...
Well, I'm going to go through the list. I have 5 main topics, and then I have a what's next section.
Right.
I have questions unanswered, and then I have some in notes, some footnotes, basically.
Okay. Yeah. We can go through this
my
real fast.
first thing I really wanted to know about your reaction to the death of Jon Snow.
Oh well, I mean, I would have to say, first of all, it's probably not what I would say is the most exciting point of the story.
You don't think so?
No, well, I mean, it's interesting that would be the first question that you would ask. I mean,
okay.
I know a lot of people have been talking about it, but
I guess
for me, the most like cliffhanger part of the whole episode was, are you familiar with the character Podrick Payne?
Oh, of course, Podrick Payne.
Yeah.
Well, he's the cock of the walk.
Yeah, part of me feels like, like what happened to him? Like I have a new theory.
Okay, let's hear your theory.
You remember you see Brienne there with Stannis.
Brienne
Tarth.
Yeah,
standing with Stannis.
Right.
and she's about to, give him the old.
Right. Well, I have questions about
snack.
Stannis. We'll get into that later, though.
Well, what if Podrick Payne killed Brienne of Tarth?
Whoa, now that is a new theory.
Because you didn't see him.
That's true, and you didn't see what happened to Brienne of Tarth.
Or what if he killed Stannis?
What if he killed both of them, and then he's going to take over?
Yeah, what if he is actually...
Well, his money is no good at any brothel.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Because he's got a big old dingus.
Yeah. He's got a giant stick.
And he knows how to use it.
If the rest of Game of Thrones is about Podrick Payne,
Pretty much. Like, it
I
all
think
pretty much
that I would
circles around
be
Podrick Payne.
probably the number one fan.
Oh, God. I just feel like there's all this stupid storyline about, like, dragons
And
ice walls.
king babies.
Yeah, like, and all this intrigue, political intrigue.
Yeah,
and,
it's like, what the fuck?
all this violence against women. And,
Oh,
I mean,
tons
that's
of
all
violence.
That's
Making
all
people
well and
walk
good.
naked in the streets.
Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but
Well, that's what your typical American wants to see.
yeah, that's what everybody's
but
clamoring for.
you and me, JB and JB,
We just want some Podrick Payne.
we just want to know about Podrick.
little PP action.
Yeah, little paper pants.
Paper pants, Podrick Payne.
Yeah. After Game of Thrones, we talked about pretty much nothing.
I have nothing of importance when compared to Game of Thrones. I mean,
That's true.
that's what I.
So that was TBD.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
So do you want to just do our standard?
like just kind of just lay it out there for the people?
For the people, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. Really, the only reason anyone listens to any of this
Is for this next 13 seconds.
yeah, when we give you a nice little gentlemanly,
Just scholarly.
courteous
Very noble.
goodbye.
Goodbye.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can find me, JB, at TBD DOS Podcast, or JB, my cotangent, at Shibbly Bibbly Boop. Thanks for listening.